Hey guys, just before I went to bed, I was checking my Facebook account, and I happened to see the mayor's post on Facebook talking about that we have an extra 14 days of quarantine. So we're going all the way to, I guess, September 1st with more quarantine with the modified ECQ. So guess what? We're still in lockdown here. It seems like, we've had like basically a year and a half of never ending quarantines of some sort. And granted, they go up and down, but we've always had to wear our masks. We've always had to wear our face shields. For a while there, we had to sign in at every place that we went, take our temperatures. We don't have to sign into every place now, but some places still make you sign in. Most of the time, I end up going over to Das Marinas because Das Marinas, the mall over there, I find I get treated a little bit better. It's easier to get in, easier to move about, and the places that you can eat are fairly decent to sit down and eat. And you can still kind of eat in the mall, which I like. I don't like sitting with a piece of glass between me and somebody else outside. I can sit inside, sit right next to my girlfriend. Granted, she's like 3 to 6 feet away from me or whatever, but that's not a big deal. I can live with that. But it's. I'll be glad when this is over, and I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon. These new Delta variants and all these other variants, there's always going to be a variant in the background, and I guess Denmark the other day said, hey, guess what? We're not going to put up with this anymore. We're done. We're stopping this. We're done. October 1st, we're back to normal. We don't care. And that's the way they're going to treat it, exactly like we're going right back to normal. They're saying that this isn't really a big deal. These new variants are not a big deal. And they're going to take it the way it is. If it means a bunch of people get sick, then they get sick, but it's not a big deal. It's like a flu or a cold or whatever. It's basically not a huge deal. So, and other countries have done this too. Singapore has kind of done this. And I mean, even kind of the United States has kind of said, we're going to stay open kind of, but they keep hagging and hawing about what they're going to do. But a lot of the governors over there in the United States are, kind of saying, no, we're not going to have any mandatory shots for employees and stuff like that. We're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. Now, New York has been taking things a little bit differently, and they're going the opposite approach. Okay? And whether you're pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine or you believe that we should be having all these quarantines and all that stuff, we have to admit here that there has to be a cutoff point where either we're going to let poverty take over, and we're going to keep everybody locked down in their house, and we're going to have socialism 100%, and that's not what I want at all. I'm kind of sick and tired of all this stuff myself, what I see in the United States. I didn't think that they should have did the stimulus. Was I glad to get the money? Hell yeah, I was glad to get the money. Do I agree with it? No, I don't. But the money did come in handy, and I did use it, So, I mean, I just put it into my savings, But let's face it, at some point we have to end this, And some of these third world and developing countries have to look at themselves and say, do we really want to go that deep into poverty? Because I think some of these countries are going to go that deep into poverty. I mean, even here in the Philippines, like I said, you walk through the mall, you see anywhere from 25 to a third of the stores closed. A lot of them are hurting. Used to be lines in some of these places, like Annie's. I think they call Annie's Pretzels or something like that, the place that sells the cinnamon pretzels. Used to be a line there. No longer a line there. And there's no longer people sitting there like there used to be. Used to be the place was packed. They had like about 8 seats in there, I believe, something like that, over at SM Dasma. Now, you can't sit there. And people go up there, they order, and then they leave. Okay? And you don't see that many people ordering anymore. Donuts, not that big of a deal. The line is not as long as it used to be. Going into Kenny Rogers. Used to be the place was packed and full. Now, you see a few people waiting to take some food home, but a lot of them don't. I see Prime Steakhouse totally closed because of the modified ECQ. Upstairs, manicures closed, massage places closed. A lot of the hair salons upstairs closed because that whole section is basically empty upstairs. That whole section is empty. It's just about every store in that section is closed down. I saw a lot of clothing stores closed. A lot of the other stores tell me that they're closing. A lot of the food places are suffering. They're working with 1/4 the staff that they usually have at places like Pizza Hut and places like that. I noticed at the French bakery, less people there. I noticed at the donut shops and at Starbucks and the other pizza places, working on a quarter of the crew that they usually have. All these people that were a crew once are all out of work, and they're not getting paid. So, and it's not just here, it's in other countries that are doing the same thing with these lockdowns and quarantines and all this stuff. There has to be a point where we say, how much are we going to hurt people? How much? How deep can we go in this? Without putting all these people into poverty. I stated this before. They said that if we went into this lockdown, Manila itself would send 166,000 people into deeper poverty. That's talking about starvation, being hungry, not having food, maybe not having money for cancer treatments, things like that. They said 400,000 people would be out of work. Okay? Now, I don't know if that was temporarily or permanently. I take it to be permanently. Because if you walked around and you saw some of these places, and especially when you walked around Mall of Asia in the Conrad building, it's like a ghost town there. Literally like a ghost town. I went there to eat there, thinking that we could still eat there, and they had already gone into the ECQ. They had already started it when it was like 3 or 4 days away. So they had already started hurting these people immediately. So they didn't even give us a chance to get used to it or whatever. Like they usually give you a few days to get ready for it or whatever. No, they just told the place, guess what? Nobody can sit in here anymore. You can only serve takeout. That's it. Now, granted, the people were nice enough to us to let us eat out back of the restaurant. They let us go out to the back door and sit outside and eat out back. That was nice of them to do that. And I was very thankful about that at Texas Roadhouse, And I noticed that the guards there, and I said this before, they were really on top of me, okay? Because the lady brought us over some bread because I asked her for some bread and peanuts so we could have like a snack while we're sitting there waiting. She brought me some bread, and I'm taking a bite of my bread, and I'm eating my bread. And she comes, the guard's walking towards me, and then all of a sudden I put the last piece in my mouth. And then she stopped and walked away. She was going to tell me I couldn't eat in there. But yet you could eat at Dairy Queen at the next section of mall. You could eat at Dairy Queen and eat your ice cream and walk about, but you couldn't eat a roll. That's the way things work, I mean, the madness of all this at some point, all throughout the world. And I'm not just talking about the Philippines here. By no means am I just, So I want that out there straight. I'm talking about all the countries. There comes a time when we have to look at this foolishness and say, okay, this is enough. And I know some people are saying, "Oh, we have to stay away from people. We still got to wear masks. We got to do this. We got to do that." Okay, I get it. And I understand that other people can get other people sick. So that works with colds. It works with all kinds of sicknesses. It works with everything. If you have a cold, you shouldn't show up for work then, correct? And how many times do you get a cold during the winter? I mean, I remember during the winter, I used to get a cold all winter. Does that mean I go to work and I just, I have to wear masks and gloves and a face shield or something like that now? No, it doesn't. There comes a point where we all have to say, remember the old days? If you got a cold, you got a cold. If you got the flu, you got the flu. We kind of live with that, in today's world. The world isn't perfect. It's not going to be. Never going to be. But I know this much. After a year and a half of wearing a mask and a face shield over here, and even if I wasn't here, if I was back in the States or in some other country, it doesn't matter. We're all getting tired of this. We are all getting tired of this. I get it. People get sick and they die. They always will. I mean, there were flus back in, I remember when I was younger, there was flus that had wiped out nursing homes and stuff like that in the past. That's a fact. Because I've heard of people that worked in nursing homes. They said When a flu went through there, it would take out like 10% of the nursing homes sometimes. You know, they could be really detrimental to the health of all the people in there. But you know what? It happens. It's sad, but it happens. And there's some things we can't have control over. Can we have control over it? Yes, we can. But do you want to have that type of control over it? You know, if it's costing people their livelihoods, their jobs, and putting people into starvation, that's the key. That's the key. Because I think in the end, we're hurting more people than we're helping at this point. And that's the sad part. We need to wake up and say, take a look, step back. Okay, what do we do about this? Obviously, lockdowns, they're not doing much. Masks and shields, I'm not sure how much they do. I'm not sure how much the shields do at all. Masks, maybe. Okay, you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You know, I can understand that. I mean, it's living here in this humid weather, wearing a mask and a shield is detrimental to your health, I think. You know, in the long term. I can't breathe. You know, I can't breathe with a mask on sometimes. It bothers me. I have 50% lung capacity due to having pneumonia. Okay? And a lot of people say, well, we have to worry about the people that are really, really, you know, sickly or have, you know, underlying conditions and stuff like that. I'm one of those people. Okay? And if I was to die, then I'm to die. You know, that's the way it is. What more can I say? You know? Anyway, guys, I kind of just want to throw that out there. I know some people disagree with me and some people agree with me. And I know it sounds like a hardcore approach, you know? But I'll say this. In the end, if we keep going this way, we're going to have more people dying of starvation. We're going to have more people suffering financially. We're going to have more people losing freedoms at a radical rate than ever before in any time in history because of all this stuff. I'm not pro or against. I'm just telling people we need to make a decision here. One way or the other, and stick to it. You know, and stick to it. Because this is out of control right now. God bless, guys. Take care.